these conflicts are based not on judgment or assessment based on fact, but based on our feelings.
The suspect was later
And
identified
we
as
start
35-year-old
wars
Mustafa
based
Ahmed
on feelings.
Mohammed.
And that may
Before
work
Officer Mitchell
if
arrived,
you attack
Mohammed had
a
already
weak
opened
enemy
fire inside
or an
apartment
enemy
on
that is
Blaisdell
not
Avenue,
determined
killing one man
to fight
and
up
critically wounding
to
another. When Officer Mitchell arrived, he moved in to help
the
what he
end.
thought were wounded victims.
And
unaware
that's
that one of them
probably
was the
what
man behind the
happened
shooting.
in Iraq
Officer
or
Mitchell was left lying on the ground
maybe in
with
Syria
multiple
or in
gunshot
Libya.
wounds before fellow officers rushed him to
But
the hospital.
when you start attacking a country that has the ability and the capability to respond and to have the, let's say, the support of its population, well, that means that essentially your strategy is misguided, and that's exactly what we have, and that's my concern with the Middle East. It's as I said, the Middle East works based on different logics that we have in the West. It's different rationale. It's a different way of understanding the world, the so-called, what the Germans call the Weltanschauung. So that's the perception of the world is different. And we
Despite
in the
everyone's
West,
efforts to keep
we are
Officer
so
Mitchell
arrogant
alive, he succumbed
by
to his injuries at the hospital.
establishing
To
that
understand the events and
everybody
the
should
suspect's background,
see the world
investigators interviewed
as
the man
we,
who was
the
renting the
West,
apartment on Blaisdell
understands
Avenue,
the world.
where the initial shooting
But it's not
occurred.
that way. It doesn't work that way. If the others, and you know, it's not new. We had exactly the same thing in South America when the Portuguese, the Portuguese to a certain extent, but mainly the Spaniards came to South America. They also had the perception that the people of America who lived in America at that time, all these people had the wrong way to understand the world. They were beasts, they were animals, and the only way to understand the world properly was the Spanish way. And we destroyed complete civilization. But of course, we had the advantage, if you want, of having best technologies, if you want. We had armor, we had rifles, or the muskets and things like this, that allowed us to take the advantage, the military advantage. But in reality, today we see that more countries that were expected to not to have technology such as Iran or Hezbollah as another example, suddenly we see that those people are able and smart enough to create their own technologies, to have their own armament, and to be considered as peer on the battlefield. And that starts to create another situation where we have to start to rethink our way of making war. Do we have now, I think, because we will be constrained to do that, we have to understand that these people have another rationale. We can perfectly live together. They have their own way of seeing the world. We have ours. And basically, there is a perfect way to work together. We are not obliged, not everybody is obliged to see and say the same thing. We can work together, we can learn from each other, but we don't need to be exactly the same. And that, I think, is the lesson that the Americans are starting to learn with Iran. And probably also what they are starting to learn, not yet, with Russia. And they are probably also doing the same with China. You see, you cannot base your economy, your way of life, your understanding of the world just based on military confrontation. It's not possible. I mean, you can, but you are in an endless war. And that's exactly the problem the US have. And I think it's completely misguided. I think the US could have best invested its money into constructive projects in the Middle East with all the partners. There is no reason to antagonize Libya, Syria, even if you don't like the government. Then even with same thing with Afghanistan. If you don't like the government, well, fine. But then why should you make war there? For what reason? To overthrow the government? I mean, the whole NATO has been in Afghanistan for 20 years, and it didn't work. So that means that the approach is wrong. We killed a lot of people, we destroyed the society, and now if you look, we have destroyed Afghanistan so much that today, if you look at the major part of the migrants that come to Europe, come from Afghanistan. So what is our gain in our whole thing? We have now migrants that we try to make every effort to refuse because we are overwhelmed. Well, probably not exactly like in Ceuta and Melilla as we have seen last week, but in any way, we are struggling with the flow of migrants because we have destroyed their way of life, we have destroyed their economies, we have destroyed their country, and now they are naturally seeking the ability to live in our countries. So what did we gain? Strictly nothing. We have we had since 20 years, since George W. Bush and all the presidents, and you can include all the French presidents since Sarkozy, from Sarkozy up to now, all were completely misguided, completely had the only way of solving issues were making additional wars. As a result, they had more terrorists, there are more victims in the country. They didn't improve anything, whether for themselves nor for the others, for their enemies, if you can put that out. So it's a lose-lose game. And the Iran war that we are witnessing today exemplifies this kind of lose-lose situation. I cannot say more. See, we're always repeating ourselves.
What can you say about these policies? They're not changing.
They're not changing, and they are always doubling down.
Yeah.
You see, this is... there is a say in French, which probably exists in other languages, that say, everybody makes mistakes. Only the stupid ones make them twice. And we are exactly there. We repeatedly make exactly the same mistakes against Afghanistan, against Libya, against Syria, against Iran, against Iraq. You know, we always we start a war based on misjudgment.
Oh, and to know, failed
On
attempts
situation
are
we
not
didn't understand.
mistakes. That's right. Sometimes people
And
count
we
failed
created
attempts
a
as
complete
mistakes.
chaos that
So
then
you can have a lot of
boomerangs
first
on us.
mistakes and not make the same mistake again, but still
You know,
have failed attempts.
You can take
Because at
any
first, if you don't
example
succeed, try again.
in the last 25 years,
I like that.
any example of war or conflict that we have started with lies. Every single one. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Iran, all these conflicts started with lies on our side to create a condition to allow the war, if you want. So in order to create this condition, we had to lie before. And I documented that in my book, Governing by Fake News. By the way. It explains how we had to lie. And by the I said the 25 last years, but the last 25 years, but in reality, you can even go since the end of World War II, because every single conflict that we have started, or the West has started with lies. Every single major conflict, I mean, I'm not talking about tribal conflicts and things like this, but every single major conflict started with lies. So we start those conflicts with lies. We engage in the conflict without a proper strategy. In fact, we conduct tactical wars. We launch strikes, we destroy things, we kill people, but we have no real strategic objective. As a result, we don't achieve any strategic objective, and then we have not even an exit strategy for all this conflict. That means that once everything has been destroyed, we have to leave. And when we leave a country not that has been improved, but has been further destroyed. That is, further worse than it used to be before. So we have seen that we compare very often, for instance, in the West, the conflict, the Soviet Union conflict in Afghanistan and the conflict of NATO in Afghanistan. We can criticize the Soviet intervention in Afghanistan. At the time, I was in touch with Afghan resistance movement, including the one of Ahmed Shah Massoud, and I'm quite aware of the situation there. But, and again, I was definitely not in favor of this intervention. Anyway, when the Soviets left in 1989, the government that they had as main objective to put in place or keep in place, maintain in place, this government was maintained in power for 2 further years. The NATO had also, when it intervened in Afghanistan, the idea of overthrowing the Taliban and putting another government in place. And they stayed for 20 years maintaining this government. Once they left, how long did this government kept in place? 24 hours. Let's say 48 hours to be fair. In 48 hours, the government fell and the Taliban came back. It lasted 2 days. While when the Soviets left, they left a government that were able to keep in place for 2 years. And that shows the different approach to war, the different approach to strategic thinking in the war that the Soviets had, and today the Russians, by the way, and the NATO. We make war without strategies. We make tactical wars. When the Soviets made a war, and even if, again, we can argue about the opportunity to do that, yes or no, and all that. But the fact of the matter is that once they left, they had put in place something that could withstand the opposition, that was able to maintain itself in power for 2 years. So that shows our weakness. The weakness of the West is that it is satisfied with short-term objectives or short-term successes. While if you look at, I would say, the Eurasian approach to the conflicts, where time has another dimension, they are not satisfied by short-term solutions. They want mid or long-term solutions. And usually it works better. And that's, by the way, you can see exactly the same perception when you address the conflict in Ukraine. The difference of perception the Ukrainians and the Europeans have regarding this conflict is completely different from the one the Russians have. You can argue against the Russians and Putin and things like that.
In the
But
aftermath of the
what
shooting,
they do
investigators worked to
is
piece
probably
together the
more
events
solid
that led to the deadly
than
ambush.
what we do
The
in
incident left
the
a
West.
lasting impact on the
Because
Minneapolis community
what-
and law enforcement.
what
Officer
the
Jamal
Russians
Mitchell was
do,
later honored in a public
they
memorial,
integrate that in the
recognizing his
long-term
service and
strategy.
sacrifice.
While in the West, we don't have any strategy. We are always in the short term. We adapt our decisions from one day to another, and therefore we have no consistency. And this lack of consistency is exactly the
For
recipe for
exclusive
failure.
clips and
And
behind-the-scenes
that's exactly
content,
the
join
problem
us
we
on
have in the West.
patreon.com/MidwestCrime.
And that's exactly the problem. I mean, even if you look with Iran, Iran has suffered much more destruction than the Americans, obviously. And obviously much more civilian casualties. But we see that Iran has a more durable, let's say, probably not solution at this stage, but a more durable leverage that the Americans have. And strategically speaking, and we have said that many times in this on your channel, Iran has a better strategic position because its strategy is based on the long term. And again, I'm back to what I said at the beginning of this program, that the Israelis and the US have not learned from the true promise 1, 2, and 3. Because Iran has always adopted a very similar strategy, but based on capacity they have created before. While in the West, they have adjusted their capacities just in time, if you want. And therefore, they were short of missiles in 2024. In 2025, same thing. They had to stop because they had not enough missiles. The Israelis and the Americans. And they assumed that it was exactly the same on the Iran side. And we see that it's absolutely not the case. Iran has I mean, we can argue obviously about that, but they have almost unlimited missile resources. And this, even if it's not true, this creates an uncertainty about their own capacities. And this uncertainty plays into a strategy that Iran is very able to manage. And that there are probably a lot of reserves of missiles, and they'll probably have a lot of launch sites that have not been disclosed yet, that can be disclosed probably next year also, or even in 2 months, 6 months also. They didn't reveal them so far in order not to attract the reaction of the US and the Israelis. Meaning that they have a stance that is based on the long term, while the US and Israel are based on short term. And we see today that this is a losing strategy of the Western side.
That too. I know 3 different blow dealers that get bricks on bricks.
Thank you so much, Carl. Great pleasure, as always.
We'll get your needs.
Well, that was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
And pounds and pounds of weed.
Well, let's just start with some basic. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to the presence of an attorney prior to questioning, to have your attorney present during questions.
Does that mean right now?
What's that?
Does that mean right now?
Yes.
When I want my attorney present.
Yes. Well, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free.
Money is not
questioning, and yes. So my understanding, I want to be absolutely clear. So you don't.
Do you support Israel and the Jewish people? Now, more than ever, Israel needs committed friends around the world to voice their support in her struggle for peace and security, especially as terrorists seek to wipe the Jewish state and the Jewish people from the map. You can show your solidarity with Israel and the Jewish people by requesting your... Don't touch me!
Stop! Stop! Hit me again, you're gonna...
Yes, now, unfortunately in policing, DUI arrests are quite common, and there are some behaviors that go along with those arrests as well. The flirt, the name drop, the denial, and the temper tantrum. And if you're drinking and driving, it's going to be a trip down to jail. This is one of those.
North Albany and Napa Auto Park with the great pilot, Honda Pilot.
207, I'll be out with him. Real quick, I'd like you to take a note of these three words on the bottom: mic, brakes, and lights. And whichever one is green is the one that's engaged. And it's not on all body cams, but on a lot of them you'll see that. It's kind of interesting to see how that correlates with the interaction of the officers and the people. And lights meaning police lights.
Pulled a used car right there in the middle of the road, right in front of the gas station.
My thing is, a lot of times I tell officers, what's the reason to look at each other when you're talking? If you can just make it practice to keep your focus on the vehicle as opposed to turning and looking at each other. You can hear each other just fine. It's a much safer practice to just keep your eyes on the driver. It should feel unsafe and unnatural to look away from the vehicle that you're dealing with.
Hello. Yeah, just this side. I don't like to be on the side of the road. Right. So my name's Officer Thompson. This is my staff. You got anything for today? Where you work at?
Look at how good his positioning is behind the B pillar. His torso has that protection. In addition to his vest, his torso has that protection. He can see inside the vehicle. I never see a reason that you should move your entire torso inside the vehicle. You'll always hear me mention that.
Are you sure you haven't had anything to drink? Because I'm smelling some alcohol. No? Okay. So, what was the purpose of the U-turn?
Because I think that my uncle is the police, and I think I can do whatever I want. I think the rules don't apply to me. And you're not. I love you so much.
So, Chief Taylor is your uncle?
I don't know if you caught that, but she said the chief of police is her uncle and she feels like she can do whatever she wants to do. I don't know if she's joking, but that is really not a wise comment to make to police officers.
Of course he does. You came to my house and my husband beat my ass.
I was there.
I know you was. I don't get your beautiful Please, I gotta go. Hey, wait. Please don't hate me. I want to know what your first name is. I'm gonna be able to. You're so kind. Do you have a wife? I bet you do.
I do.
Of course you do. Please tell me let me go. I have to go. I wasn't assuming.
Well, it's his stop. I'll see what's going on here. I'll see what's going on here, okay? That is his needs.
They're going to put their job in jeopardy.
This flirt, divert tactic, flirt and divert the officer away from what they're supposed to be doing, which is being professional. And it looks like this officer is passing the test very well because that's a test that a lot of times will happen. Males do it and females do it. I'm not just going to put on one, but most of the time it's the female. But another thing I'd like you to take notice of is this officer's badge. You'll see that there's a shroud across it, which is an important point because I looked at the date and this is May 10th of 2025. This is right around National Police Week, which is an annual event that occurs where officers commemorate officers who have fallen in the line of duty and a whole bunch of other events occur. It's a really somber week for police because we think about the officers that were lost and we learn the different things that occurred to them. So during that week, every year, you will see officers have their badges shrouded. It's a good piece of information to have.
Hey, Chief. We got a little bit of a situation here.
It doesn't matter how well they know the person. A family member, a friend. That's the whole body camera thing, you know? It works both ways. I'm sure there are times where they'd like to let someone go because they're not too intoxicated or they do know them. It's the chief.
Yeah,
I know in some situations you either wish you could turn it off or you're so glad you can't. Sorry, Chief.
I forgot my body cam doc on.
I mean, you could go either way, I guess, depending on one's own
that. What's that? Yeah, his is on. Do you still want me to fill out an asphalt?
Christ consciousness?
For both events? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pull her out on these two STs. And the other thing is
that your take
I asked
on
her what was the purpose for the illegal U-turn.
I'll take 5. I'll take 5.
She released it. I can do whatever I want. So she's acting drunk.
Yeah, she's definitely acting good. So I'll do that.
Bye.
This is really good information here. This is good stuff. So here, the chief gets name dropped by the female, and according to this call that we're seeing, she is the niece of the chief. But here's an interesting piece that could have caused some challenges. The officer tells the chief that he left his body cam on the dock at the station, which happens. In fact, a friend of mine just called me 2 weeks ago, and we were talking, and he said the same exact thing happened to him. He was charging it, left it, and something occurred. And so that can cause challenges, and they have to document if they don't have their body cam, and they can get disciplined for that as well. I don't know if that's what happens in this department. This is some good information considering the gravity of the chief's niece name dropping him on a potential DUI stop. The officer was very, very forthright about the fact that he made this mistake. He tells the chief, and good on the chief for saying, handle your business, do what you gotta do, because this is the kind of stuff that can tarnish policing if people start to get favors under these circumstances. Brewster PD so far, really good stuff.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union was born and raised here in Maine. And like Mainers, we're built on grit and a lot of gumption. We know your name, we know your story, because real community starts by knowing one another. Visit us today and experience the Dirigo difference.
Our very strongest achievement is our people. We are so fortunate here to have a mission that is all about producing leaders of character for our world.
At any point did anyone else use the power bar? Right, and then I'll try not to get too specific. Things will remember.
Dude, please.
Lindsay, you gotta step out. Lindsay, you gotta step out.
No.
Step out and go.
You, right in your ass.
Lindsay, that's enough.
He don't like you. Don't let me out. Don't let me out.
Lindsay, come on, let's go. Lindsay, come on, don't make this worse. Lindsay, come on.
No, you wouldn't.
Lindsay.
No, you wouldn't.
Come on.
You're new.
Stop. Lindsay, stop. Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
My uncle will you up, you piece of shit.
Okay.
That ugly piece of shit.
He already told me to do what I gotta do.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He don't give a
That's enough, Lindsay.
Don't touch me.
That's enough.
Don't touch
Stop.
me.
You hit me again, you're going to...
That was a battery on appeal that I just witnessed right there.
All right, that's enough.
Oh, no.
Put your
We
hands
got
back.
2 dudes on a girl. Oh, you're horse.
Yeah, that's something.
Oh, you're horse. 2 dudes on a girl.
Relax.
I see why they use that.
You, Sean. Whatever your name is. You did not want that.
Yeah, because it shows so many people that think
Dog.
because they know it would give favors.
You would not have done that. Because him,
Yeah,
who
it's
gives a
weird.
about him?
Relax, Lindsay.
No. Who gives a about him?
Is it getting
You
less
know
where
I'm
you're
cool. What the
at?
You said okay.
You got anything on you?
Yeah, crack pipes and needles up my ass. Check. Check. Check, fill me up.
Come on. I just got...
Just kidding. I'm going. Goddamn. Shit, that isn't gonna be the honor over Lindsay.
See if Amanda's available. Is she working afternoons today? Oh.
Look at that. Look at that, Sean. You hiding? Look at that. I have no cuffs on.
All right, she's out of her cuffs.
Like you're that pressed? You so nervous?
Hey, hold on. She just got out of her cuffs.
Are you gonna manhandle me? I'm not doing shit. Okay, yeah, that's good. You don't have to be so nice.
All right. She's mine. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, he thinks he's got it. Oh my god, I'm so scary. Cuff me.
I've been doing this channel like 7 months, and this is like the 12th female cuff slip in the back seat that I've done, and I just can't believe how often and how frequently this is happening. They're allowing her to be cuffed in the front. There are a lot of departments that only allow cuffing in the front if the person has a medical condition that prohibits them from being cuffed behind the back. If a person slips the cuffs and acting like this, in my opinion, not the wisest idea to cuff them in the front.
Right, I mean, say she's just drunk, that's all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe when she sobered up, if she was apologetic, I'm not sure.
Let him know too. Yeah,
Right.
if he wants to do SFSTs.
It's like even then, when they're intoxicated, it's still sad. It's disappointing.
We'll see what she says.
A lot of disrespect she's paying to
Lindsay?
her uncle and her.
You, with your you, I did it again. What? Who am I gonna fight? You're a bunch of dudes. The
Okay, do you want to perform SFSTs, standard field sobriety test?
that means.
Do you want to? You do not want to perform any
Yeah, but you
field
see
sobriety
there's like
tests?
disrespect not just because it's her uncle, but
under the
because
influence
it's
right now?
somebody
Obviously. What do you
that is
think,
obviously not a
someone?
criminal. She's not talking
we gotta
about
ask.
someone doing a bad thing or committing a crime.
Why did you do that, Sean?
You get
Why?
that?
Why?
Would you be willing to perform standard field sobriety
Would you be
tests?
willing to my no, for sure.
Would you be willing to perform?
No.
No?
No, I'm unwilling. I'm refusing.
You're refusing?
There's another option here that can potentially change the dynamic here. She should be referred to by her last name, Mrs. Such and Such, and the officer can correct her and say, I am Officer Such and Such. Stop the first name thing, because the familiarity, in my opinion, can potentially have them act in this manner more or exceed what they're doing. It could go either way, but it's a good practice that if they keep referring to you as the first name, and sometimes in these smaller towns, these people have gone to school together and they do know each other, but you can change the dynamic to some degree by saying, I'm Officer Such and Such, I'm Deputy Such and Such, whatever, and put that in your report, because you keep getting this Sean, this first name familiarity.
You're going to start to see a little bit of scattered no paperwork from the Northeast Kingdom all the way down to Marble Valley.
Natural gas does more than heat your home. From backyard grills to inviting fire pits, it fuels the moments that bring us together. Visit naturalgasmaine.com to learn more.
A lot of times it can create challenges.
Why would you be willing to let him run your life?
He's not running my life.
Yes, he is, because you wouldn't have done this without him.
He's not running my life. Lindsay, listen.
No, and you would
need to calm down.
and you'd be nice to me.
You need to calm down.
I am calm.
Okay, let's keep it that way. Refusal. And she's out of her cuffs again. Again? Yep.
Oh, look, I did it twice. You want to manhandle a girl? I bet you do. I bet you do.
You need to get back in cuffs.
Oh my God, I did it twice. No, rip me out. Rip me out.
Get back in cuffs.
Oh no, I'm pressed. You can't handle 5'2", 100 pounds. Loser. You too, Sean. You, right down. I can't imagine being so pressed and so desperate to the bitch. You ain't let go of shit. Don't stop.
Stop resisting.
Don't stop.
Knock it off.
Don't stop.
Knock it off. Stop resisting. You want to go down on the ground? We're going to go. Give me your arms. Relax.
Look, there's my son.
Relax.
There's my son. This is
Relax.
worth it. Hey, boo.
Relax.
Yeah, I am. It's my son's birthday. No, you're fat. Sean would never do this to me. If you weren't here, he would never do it.
Get your hands off that cuff.
I'm not Sean to you, I'm Officer Such and Such. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. This is just from my 2020 hindsight, but good training for officers who may encounter something like this. I'm Officer Such and Such. I mean, whatever the name is.
Oh my God, I think that bitch is. You fat, ugly. I'd be a bitches too.
Oh, there. Yep.
Sean, don't.
Stop resisting. One way or another, you gotta get back. Stop resisting.
You like this stuff?
Get back in the car. Come on.
No, push me.
Get in the car. Come on.
No.
You're making this worse. Come on.
I know, right?
Watch your head.
No.
Straighten your legs.
Find a girl. Find a girl.
Straighten your legs. Stop. Leg in.
Feel good?
Hey, knock it off.
Oh my God, I'm so scared of you. You fat piece of shit. Fat ugly.
Stacking charges, Lindsay.
I don't
This is
care.
not good.
You think I give a Sean? You guys do this shit all the time. Isn't this fun? Oh, Okay, fine, you got me. Okay, fine, you got me. Hey, I'm gonna slip these out too. You ready? And I'm gonna slip it out to you. You ready?
Stop.
No.
Pull it back in the car.
What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, I'm gonna slip out this couch too, you fat.
Hold on.
Hey, Lindsay. That's it. Oh, here he comes. He's coming. I'm not even doing that thing. I'm not even doing that thing. Come on the other side. Okay, hold on. Let me get these off.
One thing I'd like to share with you is that after I retired, I was an academy instructor for quite some time. And one thing that in the academy we do are called practicals. It's basically we do scenarios with the recruits. And one of the scenarios that's common is that you stop a person who's being very belligerent and they're related to the chief of police or the mayor or someone of influence. And they see how officers would handle it. And I think that this officer, aside from the tough stuff and any of the tactical things that I mentioned, handled it well because everyone gets treated the same under those circumstances. And when it comes to DUI, there is very little discretion, and in my opinion, I get it. It makes sense. For people who would name drop, think about what the chief has to go through when this video does the rounds and he's inside of some kind of council meeting or something like that. It's very embarrassing for him, except for the fact that he was honorable and a stand-up person and said, do what you have to do and handle business. So just a little bit of information about how we do practical examinations, and this is a very common example, and the officer did well, except for forgetting his body cam.
Yeah, get your AC on. Mark resisting. We got it under control.
Oh, that's so pretty. I'm so calm.
Alright.
Please.
Get out.
Give me the direction.
This way.
The level of
I am.
Alright.
Immature.
Wait, just take
Very
these
good
off.
statement.
This is super annoying, Sean.
We're gonna put you
Like,
in
no,
more.
you're not him. He's fat and ugly. You're not. You're hot, so.
We're gonna put you in way
how
more comfortable
embarrassed
cuffs.
she is, and she shouldn't have acted that way. Right, hopefully it's not a continued, the cops are dickheads and acting like a fool.
Be more comfortable.
Right, be very confusing, for a kid.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy back here that is fat and ugly? Okay, also, can you give us $60 to the bitch that I was going to? You just made me lost my job. You would not have done that if it was not for this fat, ugly
right,
shit.
if they have a horrible psycho mother like that, and then their mom blames them losing their job and everything on the police.
And we all hope you die.
Right, I mean, they might grow up and just
Way more comfortable. This is just policy now. This is just.
Oh my God! What am I going to do? I'm a little tiny girl. Like I'm a fight.
With Rula, your mental health
police
care is
arrested
covered
my
by
mom and
insurance.
she lost her job,
The first thought that
and I was getting hand-me-downs.
So I mean, we're here wondering.
It's all their fault.
Anything else if it was, if there's other context to it.
No, it's really not. It's, I don't know what the f to do. I know she doesn't know what the f to do.
Right, so it's in that kind of situation where,
I mean, I'm sure
different people would step in and be like, no, that is not okay. The police did their job. Your mom was in the wrong. And it's not the police's fault that your mom lost her job.
Always ballistic tests and stuff like that, DNA. Is her DNA going to be? Where
I know it
should
feels
be?
that way.
You need to explain now.
I don't think it should be. I mean...
Right, but are you even able to get through to them? Are you even able to talk to them? Get any of that through to them? Are there any ways of communication?
Fingerprints could be on the gun, it could be on the barrel, it could be on the rounds, but she...
Right, then when they try to tear down those kind of lines of communication and programs, those horrible good doers and goody two-shoes and they're gonna make you maggots! They don't vaccinate, they're gonna bring back measles. They have cartel family members. They're very dangerous. Right, so I mean, it's just dumb ideology, isn't it?
She's almost the same or not as you. I mean, that's what we're trying to
solve that. I don't give a shit about me. I just need to.
This guy killed 3 homeless people.
So at this point, our job really, we just gather the facts, right? Like when I was saying, No, I have no biases. No, that's the whole honesty. I just get all the facts.
He gives me a good estimate, though.
So the charge right now is attempted first-degree murder, and that is for both of you. But whether that stands
Something more than just booze on board. There's possibly something else from that behavior. I don't see the evidentiary test, but from a person who has the DRE background, the drug recognition expert background, there's some behaviors that I see that are indicative of just more than booze on board. Although it could be just booze, so I'm just saying from some of the behaviors.
This is what y'all do for fun? You guys, come on. Come on! That's wild. You know what? Hey, Sean, guess what? I'm gonna break it. Hey, Sean, watch this.
I think they feel embarrassed for who it is, because they know, oh, this will all be videotaped for kid or uncles, no one gonna see that.
Alright, we have to read this to you.
Place she works at.
You don't read?
Acting like a
I mean, I
total
could have psychology. Go ahead, read it. No, read it to me. I want you to read me every word.
Law enforcement.
This is for you to read along.
Trying to paint her uncle as some kind of cop that wouldn't let that go.
He's going to.
I don't think so.
Nobody cares what she
No, probably upset. Hopefully they are able to talk to her in a nice way, not shameful.
Like literally.
He's going to read it to you.
For her kid's sake, you know, be able to get her to.
I'm driving anyways. Don't pull me over again, Sean.
2511.192.
See, and these are as an example to see how
Good.
over drinking and consuming different things can put you in a state of acting in such ways. Not to blame it all on them, because alcohol doesn't make people dickheads. You're either a dickhead or you're not.
Alright, let me break out.
While under the influence.
I'm up in his body.
Listen, this is important.
You.
If you refuse to take any chemical test required by law,
The alcohol doesn't make people violent.
and you will have to pay a fee.
You literally made me lose my job. I don't give a what you say.
Chicken?
Or operating a vehicle while under the influence of illicit controlled substance or illicit metabolite of a controlled substance under the state or municipal.
I would have never treated me like this.
Preceding 20 years, you are now
Holding it all.
FBI.
Like, so fancy. Sean, suck
You will
it.
face increased penalty.
Good. Suck my
Are convicted of the
Look
state.
at me in the police station. Oh my god, I'm so worried. I'm so pressed.
Okay.
I hope you die.
understand that?
And you're, no, I don't understand that.
Okay, so you can submit to a chemical
No,
test.
I can't.
Was this a yes or no? You can submit to a
It's a no. It's a
no.
no. You.
Okay.
No, you could see where if they had her chained to that bench against her will, and the situation was different and she was being held against her will and hadn't done anything wrong, and these were criminals holding her for ransom.
So, how did you come about spotting that person?
It wasn't difficult.
You could almost, imagine someone saying something like that wouldn't come off as offensive or vulgar or lewd or immature. Right, I mean, if those were kidnappers holding her ransom, they had her kid in the next room,
So you passed.
she could hear him
Yeah.
screaming for help. I mean, yeah, you could imagine her acting out of sorts in that manner, yeah.
Get away with shit. Not because I want to make sure that they get hurt. It's like we fired.
Right, but that's not what the situation is.
Across the street, dropped his bike in his bag, sprinted fight. I don't want that many people that have to be affected by.
I mean, even then.
Have to do to feel normal.
So, you spot these people, you go down the street.
Suck
and you
my
come back.
dick. That's really unladylike.
So many
That's
times as I'm
gross.
trying to find just one good person that I can, unfortunately, traumatize. I couldn't.
And.
But yeah, no, I mean, in that kind of setting, it wouldn't seem so gross or immature. It'd be like, yeah, she's being held against her will. She can hear her kid crying for help in the next room. They're horrible criminals holding her ransom for ransom. I know, in that kind of scenario, it'd be like, oh, well, I mean, I'd be bees.
it was not a mental health crisis. But pay close attention
whether there's
to what
really
comes out
bees
of
or
his mouth
not.
next.
But I mean, it's like, if I had the right amount of care when I was a kid, I wouldn't be here. So why would I risk taking away something to someone that is actually apparent? I can't look at a normal person and not think.
Yeah, I know a lot of the redundant stuff and things you hear, they're just examples and common ones that get used. So it's, again, it's almost when, if you do therapy or any kind of emotional, these programs, it's the same stuff gets said quite often, a lot of the same examples. You'll see some of the same stories or cases that get used in training. Yeah, like Bundy.
That's fine for everybody involved. It was that. I didn't want to use the more intimidating super scary at the end, which you pulled that out.
The Columbine. Columbine.
It's a giant, massive pistol with a gorgeous sight on it.
Yeah, see, those get used as examples in different training classes.
I wanted to do as little damage as I fucking could.
So when you guys made that turn, and
That was in 1999.
right there by that gas
I
station.
had to drive through, I think, 3 times before I could go
On 420. Yeah, 420. 1999 mass shooting at Columbine High School in Columbine, Colorado. 2 students killed, 12 students, and 1 teacher before dying by suicide. The tragedy reshaped school security, law enforcement tactics, and public awareness of school violence in the United States.
Well, and one of the things we know.
What happened?
You guys are getting familiar.
It seemed like, yeah, they definitely reshaped security.
I agree. But would you think
In what districts?
think of what you
Public
guys were going
schools?
through, the struggles you're going through?
I know, it amped up people paying extra money for private schools, huh? I know, it's stunts like that where it's almost like, you know, the people that sell home security systems. I know, they'll show them, hey, look at what happened here. Sometimes they'll almost stage burglaries and stuff in those neighborhoods. You want that security system now? Did you hear what just happened up the road? Sweet little old lady. Had just moved to the neighborhood, too. Could happen to anyone.
That was cool. It was, okay, let's get home. See how long it fucking lasts before it's pulled back to what it was.
Your idea, her idea, or together?
Real cute, huh?
100% or maybe 95.
I mean, how many private schools
Guarantee you that she said it was her idea.
have you seen school shootings at?
Okay, you think it'll help us do it?
By this point, one thing is obvious. Ayla was not
Right, because they get them to do those things just like driving into the towers, flying into the towers, driving into buildings,
Now, the detectives just need to hear how
shooting into the air.
feels about what he did.
Yeah, they get
yes,
them
it is.
doing that stuff.
Are you sorry for what happened to Loveland?
Not in your area. Don't worry, they wouldn't do that in one of those areas. Hopefully you know where those areas are, huh? Are you in a safe zone? Are you in a safe zone? Are you in a safe zone? You sickos. Right, so when you start to understand these things, it's really frustrating when news people don't report on it for the safety of Americans. Which ones? Yeah, you people are fucked. Believe me when I say you're fucked. You're sick motherfucking pieces of shit. Shame on you. So yeah, that was in 99, huh? Yeah, those 2 boys. They went in and they shot all those kids and the teacher.
And extradited to Colorado to face charges stemming from the Loveland shooting. Prosecutors filed counts of attempted
I mean,
first-degree
what
murder,
would have provoked
first
them
degree
to do
assault,
such a
and
thing?
multiple firearm-related offenses.
Did they do, what do they call that, chemical analysis after?
September 24th, 2024.
Had they been taking drugs, working with any state workers, medicated?
On November 27th,
What's going on?
2024, a judge
I know, probably good things to learn about, huh? Right, so when our media people and news people want to continue to ignore that stuff, I mean, maybe they don't know. Did you go to a public or a private school? Huh?
His girlfriend, Ayla
How many people who work in those industries went to public school?
also charged.
Let's do a tally on that, huh? I know they never like to do it. I'm telling you, it's been brought up a lot over the years. They fucking never do it. They turn their fucking heads, they hang them, and they fart in your face. You nasty fucking pieces of shit! The proper authorities here in Augusta, Maine need to wake the fuck up and help these kids. Much love, health, and peace to you all. It's a glorious day, really.